any casual players, please, in the comments below, tell me your experience with Criterion, if you're doing it, and if would you do it more actively for getting gear. I genuinely, maybe I'm disconnected, right? Maybe I'm disconnected from the fucking topic here, and Disparis is actually preaching, you know, the gospel of the casual players, and I'm not understanding this correctly. But can casual players please? And I promise you, I will not laugh at you, I will not judge you. I am genuinely curious about your take and opinion on this. Do you want, you know, easier gear, or are you doing sync down content anyway, so the higher item level doesn't matter? Would you do Criterion if it dropped, you know, augmented tombstone gear or whatever? Like, give me your take. I would like to actually hear from the casual community, like, what is your opinion on this? In the comments below. You don't, it's not for engagement, I'm not, you know, I'm not partnering on YouTube or anything. I actually genuinely am curious about the opinion of the casual community. Is this genuinely the idea that you guys want? Because this just sounds very fucking disconnected for me. Right, so another funny Disparis videos. Chat, who wants to make bets? The title is called Square Enix, You Were So Close. Do you think this is about the Criterion rewards, or is this something else? Because I'm... At this point, I'm just very curious with Disparis takes, because he somehow just manages to have the weirdest and most, like, obnoxious takes. He goes like the link...
arrogant and disrespectful.
But it's like every time I watch a Disparis video, I'm at this point I'm just watching his videos just for the sake of like fascination, because like he will go the Lynx Camelli route while he like have a good point to talk about, and then he just goes all over the road. Like nothing, like he will make one good point and then everything related to that point that he will say fucking irrelevant or pointless or just kind of obnoxious. Or just like very misinformative because he just does not look up his own fucking research.
Greetings and welcome to another video. You might have heard it from Mr. Happy Oxino already, but I still want to bring this topic up another time because I firmly...
If it's Happy and Xeno, then it is definitely Criterion. So, why do people that don't do specific content talk about that content? I know he, like, Disparis is not doing fucking Criterion. He barely does anything these days.
We believe Square Enix needs to get as much attention being drawn onto this topic as possible. Yes, we're talking about Criterion Savage rewards again.
Okay, chat, let's hear him out.
While Square did step up their game on that department significantly, they still missed the point, and it's absolutely sad.
Did they miss the point? What was the point?
To realize they just barely missed it by small degrees. But of course, let's dive a bit deeper. As you might already know, we got...
Yeah, what do you think about this weapon? I genuinely feel like this weapon would be fine if it was just literally flipped when it's like open. For some reason, like the wings are pointed like the, you know, the tail end of the wing towards the enemies. I think it should be reversed. Mid, yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, the look better died. Also true, yeah.
Some very cool Savage weapon upgrades this time around, instead of the usual interior deck.
I am happy for like the shiny umbrella. Like blue mages are finally getting some shiny weapons. That's kind of good. I'm kind of into that.
Decoration, mounts, and the almighty materia exchange. But why Savage weapon upgrades? Because technically, being an alternate path to augmented credendum weapons.
Savage weapon upgrade? He means tombstones, right? Right?
Received from Tombstones of Comedy.
Hold on.
And the almighty materia exchange. But why Savage weapon upgrades? Because
he means tombstones. I'm pretty sure he means tombstone weapon upgrades.
Because technically being an alternate path to augmented credendum weapons received from Tombstones of Comedy. I would actually call these Savage weapons because these can be received by trading in Divine Solvent that you can only get from Savage raids of the current tier. These will be available later, maybe during patch 6.
Is this why he's calling it Savage Weapon? Because you upgraded with something you get from Savage raids? Huh? Cat, am I bugging? Am I confused what he's talking about? Am I just like misinterpreting something? Or
6.55 or the like, but that's actually the same time when best in slot relic weapons will come and nobody cares about these shiny tombstone weapons anymore except for their glamour value. That is so sad.
To be fair, that glamour value is like very mid. Like we already talked about this a bit earlier. Like even the glamour players are not gonna waste like 2 weeks worth of tomestones just to get the weapon, then do savage or wait like 8 months for alliance, or no, not alliance, right? Something else to give them the solvent just for glamour. It's like, the only way to get the weapon is tomes and P11 and Criterion. Yep, pretty much. And they need to be either fucking majestic or like at least 5 item levels higher, or like extra materials. I don't know, something. Makes it savage weapon if you need an item that you can currently only get from savage. That is true. They'll pick it up in 7-0. Yeah, pretty much.
Sad, because these could really serve well as a decent mid-core gearing method, or simply an alternative for the P12 savage weapons. And don't you think, because some jobs
they're not ideal alternative, because like when we check those weapons, like if I remember right, I could be bugging with the numbers, but it's like 14 out of 18 weapons are just like, they are not better, they're not bis. They're same item level, but like worse substats. That just either will mess up your rotation, or just like it's just not worth it most of the time.
Addendum weapons like the Black Mage, for example,
Unless like some of the raid weapons start giving you spell speed and skill speed, and the tombstone weapons are gonna be the ones that gotta give you like determination or crit, then maybe. It all depends on the jobs, but it's like majority of the tombstone weapons are just not bis because of the substats.
will have slightly better stat distributions than their respective.
I mean, some of the glamours are cool, like the Black Mage weapon here. It kind of slaps.
Savage bis, granted.
Except for the part that is like, why is it swinging in such a weird way? Why is it like tilted?
Also cut this opportunity off as well, by just altering the stats from the augmented credendum weapons to the 665 version by copy pasta and applying the Savage Ascension weapons value one by one.
Yes.
So even if you beat Criterion Savage without actually having Savage Ascension gear, you still need to clear P11S to receive the Divine Solvent for upgrading.
That
correct. Together with the fact that gear requirements are...
To be fair, this is... honestly, I assume this is something people will just go back to clear. Like, people doing older content, for example, they will go back to do this for specifically Glamour, because then clearing P11S is going to be fairly easy. Like, getting Tombstones is going to be easy, because it's just going to be Poetics that everyone's is capped on anyway. And the Solvent is also going to be bought with Tombstones as well. Or, I don't know. Actually, you don't even need to upgrade. Everything's going to be augmented and bought with Tombstones once the next expansion hits. So it's like, you're just going to be getting this for Glamour or just for the Criterion experience. So it's either made as content for you to do in the previous expansions, or they're just testing the waters and they're going to swap out the formula, but either put them before the raids or during them, or I don't know, or adjust the rewards. Not casual lazies like me. I'm never going to get it. You never know. It is synced content, that is true. But unless they allow us to unsync it, then maybe we'll do it. Maybe.
Insanely tight, and some people already said you cannot clear without already having your best in slot. This is just simply ridiculous.
I mean, you can clear it without your best in slot. Our group is a good example. Like, a lot of the peeps, I think half of our group are not bis. Myself included, but in the item level requirement, like both the average and the sync for this is the same one as for the Rokon one. The path to get it feels more like an ultimate weapon from previous FFs than any relics currently in game. I wouldn't say ultimate weapon, but I would say it definitely has that relic grind feel to it. I kind of feel like it could be a thing that you could be getting like some materials from Criterion that you could get from other methods if you're not a raider, for example. I don't know, maybe they're experimenting, but like I refuse that they didn't think it through and they thought people are just gonna do this because it felt fun.
But like Zeno already said, there are multiple ways to fix it. So let's go through some redeeming ideas to make Criterion an awesome piece of content.
I'd like to point out, Xenos' video was like 40 minutes. The Sparius video is like 6 minutes. What ideas to fix it is he literally just gonna copy paste Xenos' fucking idea? I'm pretty sure he
I'd
will.
actually say again, but on the reward department, it was always bad. The most simple idea to fix this with the least amount of development effort would be to implement Divine Solvent as 24 Alliance rate coin exchange right now.
No. No, what do you mean? So everyone's gonna start getting the tombstone weapons, which by the way, again, is also not like ideal because you can get the extreme weapon right now anyway. You get the extreme, you can get the relic weapon. Why get the no, it shouldn't be this easy. It should not be this easy. I agree that they're delaying the solvent reward from Alliance raid for a while. I agree with that fucking thing in the game. I do not agree that they should be giving those out immediately. Because damage plays too much of a role, like, in so much content in this game. No. I am on the side of the casual Andes, but they should not be getting rewards this fucking easily.
Of course, this goes out of their freaking carved in stone schedule, but heck, they should definitely start overthinking this strict date and time plan anyways, if Dawntrey wants the players to get fully excited again, or maybe even surprised by certain changes and features. I just joked with a friend that we should sneak into SE headquarters and just make this little tweak to the live servers, by adding the Divine Solvent onto our good NPC Nesvas here in
What was that editing?
Razatan, because that would actually make Criterion Savage rewards 50% better already. The second idea, however, and one that I would love to see but is fairly unreasonable to happen, Square should grant augmented credendum gear for each boss you clear.
Augmented crescendum gear for clearing bosses. What? Hold on. Did I hear that right? I feel like I heard that.
50%
Because like that did not sound right. Hold on.
The second idea, however, and one that I would love to see but is fairly unreasonable to happen, Square should grant augmented credendum gear for each boss you clear.
He's right. It is unreasonable. It is. You will not get augmented crescendum. At most, you might get a book. You might get like upgrade items in the shop for clearing the thing. But it's like just getting augmented crescendum gear as a drop. No. What the fuck? No. People will just not do tombstone farms at all. They will literally just go into this, clear this, and their week is done in day one. No. Like, does he... he's saying Criterion. I assume he doesn't mean Savage, but it's like still, like, clearing Criterion and getting tombstone gear? Like, specifically pieces. That's what... Wait, hold on. Let's hear him out.
Starting with the normal Criterion version already, and finishing with the weapon drop or a koffa for a weapon with the Savage version. So they would have to give out already existing gear that's in the game, but with...
No. The fuck? Just how fucking easy do you want the gear to be available for you? Like, there is obviously a lot of complaint about, like, availability of gear and how we get it. Especially the tombstone that we need to specifically wait out, you know, weekly cap. But like just straight up getting augmented gear as a drop? No. That is way unreasonable.
With different methods of acquiring them, incentivizing the players to participate in
like getting items that could reward you, augmentation, maybe. Books, maybe. Tombstone for clearing, like extra, like tombstone numbers drops for clearing every boss, sure. But just straight up augmented piece gears, like, holy fuck, that is... Goddamn.
Criterion and its Savage version significantly. This would also solve the big issue that is present for many players.
This just reminds me of that guy that posted on Reddit, like, not Reddit, or on the Square Enix forums, like, the axolotl is too cute, it shouldn't be a savage reward. I want this mount, but I don't raid. Give me the mount. Who remembers that fucking weird post? I need to find it again. It was such a funny fucking post to read.
players according to forums, YouTube comments and many discussions on Twitch that gearing up tombstone pieces for multiple jobs is a pain in the ass and takes months to accomplish. And every player with the idea to swap jobs from time to time.
I agree with that, but it's like, still getting full pieces, that is just like, you're either putting the content on weekly lockout, like even let's say you get the augmented or just even non-augmented crescendo drops, right? You will have to put it on weekly lockout, and that's just gonna make it another fucking thing you gotta add it to your list of chores that you have to do, get this, and not you just doing it for fun and the rewards and the experience. Is like, I don't know. Like, to me, this is a really weird take.
Which, in my opinion, is necessary to keep yourself interested in the same old content for a longer period of time, would massively benefit from that. If Square is against this idea simply due to having a reason to keep players subscribed to the game, damn, they absolutely need to overthink their business model, because while Yoshida is preaching those famous words, play other games in the meantime, this and the housing system is actively contradicting this ideology. Last but definitely not least.
One thing I feel bad for Yoshida. Because like everyone was like pointing fingers at him like, hey, Yoshida, fucking fix this. How dare you, Yoshida? How dare you save this thing and we're getting this thing? I said this previously, it's like Yoshida is not responsible for everything. He's like he's the producer and the director, obviously, but it's like he's responsible for a lot of things, but it's like not everything is specifically his last word. That's to say, like, even for example, if anyone watched Xenos' video where during like the meet and greet where he talked about the tombstones and adding beers, tombstones aside, he asked like Yoshida, hey Yoshida, can you add more beards to the game? And Yoshida is like says like, that's not my department, it's that guy over there, and points at the guy that's responsible for character UI and creation. So it's like you already know that it's like not everything's up to Yoshida. Yoshida is just one man. You have to understand, MMO is made by literally, I don't want to say thousands of people, but it's like for Square Enix, it should be like at least like a good 300 people just working on this specifically. Besides like development, modeling, like localization, etc. It's like the team has got to be decently sized. Yoshida is not going to be responsible for every fucking department. He's not going to be greenlighting everything. But everyone's going to be pointing at Yoshida. Yoshida, how dare you fucking say this?
Why the heck don't we get completely new gear sets in Criterion?
Because it would fuck up the balance and people would be trying to get new bis from content that came out way later. This is fairly new content, but we got 2 Criterions after the last raid tier dropped. 2 Criterions after the last raid tier. If people are gonna start optimizing, trying to get bis from the new Criterion, it's gonna mess up a lot of things, a lot of numbers. It's gonna, yeah, you're not getting a third fucking set of gear from a 4-man content.
They don't need to be best in slot or rivaling for that spot, and they don't even need to create whole new armor design.
But then nobody's gonna be doing it. If they're not bis or not even unique in armor design. Hold on, am I hearing this correct?
Why the heck don't we get completely new gear sets in Criterion? They don't need to be best in slot or rivaling for that spot, and they don't even need to create whole new armor designs.
That's why. Because if there's no fucking use to them, even as a glamour, they're not gonna add a third fucking set of gear.
Just take the same approach you have on dungeon gear with each patch that nobody cares about, except you have ones that actually look good. From there, just push the item level curve a bit higher to something like 655 or 650.
You're out of your mind if you're gonna get dungeon gear for 655. Even if it's Criterion, but it's like you're out of your mind if you're getting 655. The synced item level for that content is 665. And you wanted to drop 655 gear for you. Honestly, I'm on the side of every player, like hardcore players, mid-core players, casuals. Like I try to put myself in all their shoes, but this take is just kind of like, it just kind of shows me that how fucking spoiled Barry says, and how easy he wants his gear to be attainable. Like, like people will just go in, like by his logic, people will just go in, clear the first boss of the fucking Criterion dungeon just to get loot, just to get a full fucking augmented crescendum piece. That's gonna be already good. They might clear two if they're in the mood for it, depending what drops. But is out of 3 bosses in the Criterion, if he wants augmented gear, then he also wants 655 dungeon drops. It's like, and he wants solvent immediately dropping, or immediately being sold from the Alliance raid coins. It's like, I feel like Disparis is very disconnected with the casual community as well. Because like, who is this fucking for? Who is this gear set for? If you don't want unique glamour, you don't want it to even compete for the biz spots. Why? What do you need this whole new set of gear for? Why do you want it to drop? It's just like, how how easy do you want the gear to be attainable for you? Like, I'm in favor of making some gear obtainable, specifically tombstone gear, to be more attainable by the general public. Like, not just the raiders, but like the casuals as well. Maybe they want the glamour. They don't want to fucking wait weeks just to buy the piece or to make it dyeable. But it's like, this is a very disconnected take. It's like, how fucking easy do you want gear to be dropped for you?
58 even, that no Savage Raider is angry, but all mid-core players and casuals are glad to have something to work for, without the need to form up 8-people parties. Because for many
8-people parties and extremes are going to be a lot easier than doing a Criterion with the 4-man party. I promise you that. I genuinely will promise you that. It is going to be easier for you to clear the... It's going to be easier for you to clear Zeramus with a party of 8 people, even in Party Finder, or even prog it for like a lockout or 2 and clear it. Getting that done is going to be way easier for a casual player than doing the Criterion dungeon. I promise you this. You are very disconnected. You need to do some of this content. Despairs, you need to start doing this content. I've checked the content you do. I know you're still playing the game, but you're just not doing any fucking content, and you're there disconnected on the difficulty and the amount of energy and work it would require, not just from a mid-core player, but like from a casual that you're advocating for, to get this done. Casuals are not going to be doing Criterion for gear. I promise you that. This is so fucking disconnected. I mean, it works in WoW at least. You can spam M+ in hope of better gear as much as you like without weekly lockout out on tombstones and be limited to get 1 piece per week. That way it does make gearing easier to people who aren't raiding and you still be around same item level than heroic mythic raiders. Not always, and the raiding gear is always going to be better. It's always balanced that way. Like some of the pieces, specifically in raid, are going to be definitely outperformed by effect. If not by item level, by effect, they're going to outperform the mythic plus gear from dungeons. Of course, tombstone gear is not the same as raid gear, but if the dungeon gear would be higher item level, it's like it gets higher item level eventually, but it's like this whole video from Despairs just sounds like he wants easier gear to be obtainable by him. I don't think he understands that a casual player is not gonna do Criterion, like not even Savage version, just the normal Criterion or fucking gear. Like, clearing the first boss, even, is a lot of fucking work. Maybe not for, like, a hardcore or, like, a higher-end raider, but with a more casual group. Like, you have 1 casual player in your group. I'm not gonna point fingers, but we do have casual players in our Criterion group. And that person, if they mess up, and I'm not pointing fingers or naming names or specifically talking about our group, but if 1 player dies in a group, where, especially in content where you cannot combat res, you have a limited amount of reses, you cannot carry that person through the fight. Casuals are not gonna clear Criterion fights. You're making them prog. It's not even mid-core for them. It's still gonna be fucking annoying for them to do just for glamour or gear.
players, the 8-people party setup is the stepping stone that they can't overtake. And
why is the number of people like the stepping stone? Gathering an extreme party to get a 655 weapon is going to be a lot easier than gathering Criterion party. Criterion party is not that fucking popular. You're not going to party find it. You have to organize a group for this. Not like you can party find that, but it's not going to be as active as just doing Zerumus.
And don't tell me that nobody would do the alliance raid anymore. Oh heck.
Nobody would do it for the solvent.
They would, because even for the coin alone, you would still get tombstone upgrades for free and might select other jobs now, due to having more options but slightly less.
Okay, gearing up jobs. See, this is the issue here. We're talking about specifically the solvent, which upgrades the weapon. Gearing up jobs is the difficulty falls on the left and right side, not even the weapons. Weapons, who cares about those? Fuck them. You're gonna get an extreme weapon, you're gonna get a relic weapon eventually when you start gearing up your alt jobs. It's like, if you're clearing the raid tier, you're gonna eventually get either 8 boxes or you're gonna get a random weapon for your alt. But it's like the solvent is just, there's no point to it. Even for a casual player, I guess unless the goal is to make your weapon dyeable, like, no one's going for that weapon, because they're gonna get, like, a decent weapon from like the extreme or the relic. They're not gonna go the extra effort. Okay, so let's say they can upgrade their weapon. They get the 660 weapon, right? It's a wasted coin, though. You gotta clear, especially on the last alliance raid. You gotta clear 3 alliance raids. Go through that fucking queue. God forbid you're a DPS and you gotta wait in queue for 30 minutes. You get that coin, and instead of using it on left side or right side to get up, better main stat, better armor, better substats, etc., you're wasting on a solvent on a weapon, which is irrelevant for a casual player. The item level and the damage on that weapon is just irrelevant. The casual players don't care about the weapon. They're gonna get something else. They're gonna go on the market board and get the titanium weapon, because that fucking weapon slaps. It's pretty. It's cool. They don't care about the item level. Casual, like, holy fuck, like, like the casual players that you're advocating for, because you're clearly not talking on behalf of the mid-core or high-end writers, right? You're specifically talking on the casual end. The casual players are doing synced down content. There's no piece of content that they're doing. Like, even if they go into Criterion is fucking synced as well. It's like, they do not do content that requires them to have a higher item level. So unless they really want a dyeable fucking weapon, the solvent doesn't fucking do anything. And they can get better weapons. Or prettier weapons at this point. It's like, they do sync content anyway. There's literally, if we're talking about casual, like, if we talk about the previous video you made about gearing up, so whatever the fuck the content is, if it doesn't have enrage, let's say the casuals are doing dungeons and they're doing, let's say, normal raids. Neither of those have enrages, so your damage doesn't really matter. It's also synced, so you cannot outgear the content. What do you need the item level for? Unless you really want that dyeable weapon, it's pointless. And the casual players are not going to do Criterion, because Criterion has enrages, and it's still a difficult content, even for 4-man, especially with the limitations of no combat reses. You cannot, like, you can carry people through that if you're a more experienced player, but it's going to be a lot more difficult because you cannot combat res them to, like, through the fight to get them, even to help them get more experience through the fight. Like, holy fuck.
Needed time to complete sets entirely. I'm really astonished that nearly all content creators, streamers, and basically the whole community come to this conclusion, but nobody at Square Enix HQ has the balls to implement it.
That is not the conclusion people came through. You can even read here, complete rework, add more bosses. It's like, this is not the casual content. They will not drop augmented gear pieces. This is not their take. I've seen Mr. Happy's video, and I've literally just reacted to Xenos' video, the entire fucking 40-minute video. That is not what they're saying. They're saying the opposite stuff of you. You are trying to defend casual players getting easier gear, and you are misinterpreting and like misinforming the casual community what they can get. But the casual community, like any casual players, please in the comments below tell me your experience with Criterion, if you're doing it, and if would you do it more actively for getting gear. I genuinely, maybe I'm disconnected, right? Maybe I'm disconnected from the fucking topic here, and Disparis is actually preaching, you know, the gospel of the casual players, and I'm not understanding this correctly. But can casual players please? And I promise you, I will not laugh at you. I will not judge you. I am genuinely curious about your take and opinion on this. Do you want, you know, easier gear, or are you doing sync down content anyway? So the higher item level doesn't matter. Would you do Criterion if it dropped, you know, augmented tombstone gear or whatever? Like, give me your take. I would like to actually hear from the casual community. Like, what is your opinion on this? In the comments below. You don't. It's not for engagement. I'm not. You know, I'm not partnering on YouTube or anything. I actually genuinely am curious about the opinion of the casual community. Is this genuinely the idea that you guys want? Because this just sounds very fucking disconnected for me.
Yes, the shiny tombstone weapons are definitely...
Is it for glamour? Glamour is just you're gonna, the amount of effort it's gonna take you just to get a shiny weapon when you can get much better shiny weapons off of the market board from the extreme trials.
a step into the right direction, but a step that still follows a path of thin air. So please start creating a solid foundation to put our steps onto, and with insanely small tweaks make the gearing system 10 times more interesting in this game. Final Fantasy XIV has so many reasons to fall in love with it and play it for your heart's content.
He says small tweaks. He says his two solutions for this problem are, and this is not me calling him out, or this is just me trying to retrace my steps and figure out if I'm actually getting his idea correctly. Get solvent immediately that will upgrade your weapon to an item level that will still sink down in alliance raids. Get augmented tombstone gear drops from Criterion that requires you to have augmented tombstone gear to begin with to actually be able to do it more efficiently or without dying. To get a third set of gear that is not this, not unique in appearance. What was his fucking third point? I still don't get it. Chad, am I bugging? Am I misunderstanding something here? Or is this just like very fucking out of touch? I don't understand. I thought this would be a short like video and it would have a take that he might have took from other videos, but this is just so... God damn.
Especially Criterion is awesome. But on the same note, it baffles me that changes costing a developer's time of 1 to 2 hours would critically make the gearing system become a 7 out of 10 instead of a 4 out of 10. Or even a higher score if they spend a bit more time and development effort. So if anyone with the right responsibilities and power watches this video, or the one from Mr. Happy or Xeno, please just make one of the before mentioned changes and fix the Criterion dilemma for all of us.
Listen to Xeno's or Mr. Happy video, or this one, please. This video is very out of touch.
And if you want this topic to be explored even further, please watch Xeno's video. He made insanely good points strengthened by very powerful arguments.
I did watch this video right before this one. He made such good points. He explained it. He talked about nothing for a good 30 minutes because he kept bringing up examples to compare things to burgers and kept comparing like bringing up the same point for 10 minutes, but he got to the point and he made good points. But those points are not your points. Your points are way different, and your points are just sound like a casual player that's just trying to get gear more easier because you don't want to do any content. But for some reason you're trying to like convince casual players to do Criterion. I fucking don't know anymore.
Whose link can be found in the description. So let us hope for Square to listen and have an awesome Criterion experience that could be able to entertain a long time passage until Dawntrail, much better than it does now. It's awesome content, but it can be 2 times better with one little change. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep loving Final Fantasy.
the Criterion needs more than one change. There's a lot of things that are wrong with Criterion. One change is not gonna fix it, but the issue of again, it's like, just as I said at the very beginning, he brings up a good point. Criterion needs help. It needs some tweaking. It needs some adjustment. It's good content, but it's just executed poorly. And then he fucking brings out a bunch of points so irrelevant, so misinformative, that I'm very good. Like, does he do any research? Does he actually talk to the casual community? Like, I'm very confused. What are these takes? I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe, like, again, like, casual community, can you, like, in the comments, please? Like, can you, like, just let me know? Am I bugging? Am I, like, very, like, out of touch with the casual community now? Or, like, do you guys need higher item level for sync content? Are you guys doing anything that requires high item level? Are you guys willing to prog Criterion for a while just to get augmented tombstone drops? Or, like, do you want the solvent available immediately from Alliance Raid? How many of you actually want to upgrade the weapon? Like, like I genuinely want to hear from you guys. This is like, I have so many fucking questions after this. Yeah. Oh, well, that was a video. Whatever. Or they do, but it's still locked behind weekly lockout of Alliance Raid coin. Like, why would you spend your one weekly lockout coin on a solvent that you don't need? Dyeable gear, sure, I get that. Dyeable weapon or higher item level, there's like a lot more options. You really don't need the you really don't need the weapon, because it's higher gear I can get now. Augmented, I mean, fucking, what do you need the higher gear for? What is the goal here? What do you need to spend 2 weeks worth of tombstones? Because it's 500. You need 450 cap, then another 50 from another week. You use that 50, you're not going to have enough for other pieces in the weeks to come because you got a weapon. You then wasted your weekly coin for a solvent instead of like twine or shine, and you got the weapon, right? That's only used on one job. You get way more value and like more glamour options by just making dyeable the left side and the right side of your gear. So, like, the weapon is just so fucking irrelevant. It's still there because it's necessary. It needs to be there. People need to have it. But it's like, it is so relevant. Even the casual players are not going to be like fond of that one. They might get it. That's fine. Some of the weapons might be cool. That's fine. That's understandable. But no one's getting that weapon because they want a higher item level. They will get it for glamour reasons, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm disconnected, but I don't know. That was a video. Whatever.